So, The Boys ended, and I am proud to say that while it did have some problems, it ended off in a satisfying way. So after I watched The Boys, I ended up watching Just Stop's video on how The Boys is a bad adaptation. Overall, it's a good watch and provided a lot of insight on a comic that I thought for a while was dog ass. I might even read the comic, that's how good the video was. But then I started to think more and more about that video. And then I had a question. What truly is a bad adaptation? No, seriously, put some thought into it, and I'll wait. Alright now, so let me try and read your mind. 1. The story stays the exact same and nothing changes. 2. An understanding of the source material while also trying to create new stories with their unique character traits. I'm sorry to tell you guys, but you are both wrong. Kinda. Not really. I'm just trying to piss you off. Is it working? Anyways, whether you think the source material should stay the same or the person should do their homework, and while both of these points are true, it gets to a point where people say because the characters have to be comic accurate. When people say this, it's more of a way of them saying, hey, I like this version better. Like, name anyone that describes Spider-Man. They will describe him as a broke superhero that always does the right thing no matter his circumstances. And that's most of the public opinion on Spider-Man. And when people point out a bad superhero movie, they always, without fail, say it's not comic book accurate Spider-Man. And when I hear this, I always pop a blood vessel when I hear this, because comics can do whatever the fuck they want. Like, where is this amount of criticism for comics? Now, to be fair, not that many people even know how to read, but mainly saying this to the comic book nerd. Comics can constantly make new stories and they will eat it up because it's new. But why is it that when I see a movie trying something new, the comic book fans always get mad? Oh, why is Spider-Man creating Iron Tech? Why is he being Iron Boy Jr.? I want him to be the classic Spider-Man. When in the comics, he can fucking do that. I even saw some hate for him having an AI assistant and him making his own gear in the new Spider-Man movie. So, are we just forgetting that he's a genius? So much so that Reed Richards, the smartest person in the Marvel Universe, even noticed how smart he was. Now, I know I've been rambling, but it's really to get my point across that movies can do it too. The same way that comics can make unique storylines to keep things fresh, and just because something isn't entirely comic book accurate doesn't even make it bad. Heck, I even love the Punisher One Last Kill. But there are a fair amount of people who hate it simply because he's not the Punisher from the comics, who is just a murdering psychopath that used his family's death as an excuse to kill criminals. While it does sound interesting, I feel like there are not that many people who are like open to different interpretations of the characters. Like, if you want to bitch about comic book accuracy, Thanos in the movies isn't even comic book accurate. He committed mass genocide in a universal scale just for some pum pum. And they probably made this change to make him more of an understanding villain rather than a horny genocidal maniac. Now, before I go any further, I do agree that when making an adaptation, you have to make it a faithful one, because public perception of the comics is important, because no one knows how to read. But what's also important is the person making it, and I also do agree that the source material has to have the plot of the comic, but comic readers should also be open to changes in the plot or even entirely new storylines, especially if the writer or director knows their shit. You might like it or you might not like it, and it should be viewed as an entirely new storyline like a comic book. It should be treated as you just picking up a comic book and reading a new storyline you never actually seen before. Another reason why I wanted to make this video is because when it comes to adaptations of the comic book source material, people tend to tear the movie or show to shreds because of the comic book accuracy rather than enjoying the storyline. And yes, I also also do agree that the person making the movie should also know their shit on the source material and make changes to it that could make their story of the movie or show better. Because at the end of the day, movies and shows of adaptations are just another form of comic books, but instead of it just being pages, it's moving pages. And I feel like it should be viewed that way, because why shouldn't it make new storylines like comic books? That doesn't make any sense to me. Anyways, that's all I wanted to say. Bye.